Hello, my name is Troy Williams, and today I'll be introducing MSTU 4329 Intro to Virtual Reality. This would be a graduate level elective offered in the fall of 2017 as an online course. So with that being said, this course will be a 10-week introductory course that will introduce the theoretical and practical perspectives in using this technology for learning and social influence. We'll be focusing specifically on the history and creation of virtual reality, the different platforms and types of virtual reality that are available and being developed, as well as how they can be used for learning purposes. The course format will be asynchronous, with each week's session starting on Tuesday, running until the following Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Generally speaking, this course will outline three central goals. 1. To observe, examine, and evaluate different designs of virtual reality. 2. To reflect on how we can create immersive learning experiences through the utilization of virtual and augmented reality. And 3. Review research studies pertaining to the use of such technologies. So the students will have three types of assignments that they'll have to complete. One will be the weekly forum post, which will be the primary basis of engaging with the course content. Each post will be an opportunity to demonstrate their learning and understanding of the material presented in the course readings and activities. The forum posts would differ each week in their complexity and would involve multiple steps such as reading, watching videos, testing software, etc. The post would be due Sundays at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, and students would need to be aware that this is the day before each weekly session ends on Monday. Students will also be expected to moderate the forum and actively participate with their colleagues' posts. So for 1 week of the semester, students will sign up to moderate the discussion forum on Blackboard. The moderators will have two main responsibilities: 1, to monitor and respond to other students' forum posts, and 2, to summarize the main ideas and questions raised by the class in the forum. The goal will be to help the class have a discussion about the course topics. This could be accomplished by connecting ideas, asking questions, sharing resources, etc. The students will then be asked to create a short summary of 6 to 7 sentences of the main ideas and points made within the class discussion. These summaries will be due that Monday, 11:59 p.m. of the assigned week. Since the forum posts will be due on Sundays at 11:59, there will be a 24-hour window for students to read and respond to their classmates' posts. Students will be required to respond to at least 2 of their colleagues' posts weekly. There's also a final presentation and paper that is due at the end of the course. The final project would require students to collaborate with their colleagues as a group in order to write a proposal for a virtual reality platform. This will give students a chance to develop something new based upon what they have learned within the course. The proposal paper would need to explain the rationale of the topic and design, as well as a learning theory and a brief description of the design. Students would also be expected to create a PowerPoint presentation outlining the main ideas of their proposal, key features of the platform design, and etc. This project will be due at the end of week 9. Students will post the presentation to the forum so that their colleagues will be able to view them. Once everyone has posted their slides to the forum, the students would then be asked to evaluate their colleagues' projects and provide feedback to each other's proposals during the final week of class. And these evaluations will be due week 10, the final week of class. As for the expectations in this course, this is a graduate level elective, therefore there is a lateness policy in which all assignments are to be completed by their respective due dates. There will be no extensions given on any assignments except in extreme emergency circumstances. As far as collaboration, for the group projects, all the members of the group are expected to participate equally in their work. Upon completion of the final paper, students will be asked to fill out a peer evaluation form and rate their experience within their respective groups. If there are any issues that occur, students will be sure to contact the instructor immediately. As for the grade scheme, the forum post would account for 40% of the final grade. The forum moderation and overall participation would account for 20%, and the final proposal and presentation would account for another 40%. With tech requirements, students will need a computer with a front camera in order to access Blackboard. All the course material will be distributed and discussed within Blackboard, and students will be expected to access this on a regular basis in order to stay on track with course content and their due dates. Also needed will be a video chat application such as Google Hangouts, Skype, and Apple FaceTime for communication purposes. It would also be handy for students to have a smartphone and possibly a printer on hand for some handouts that may be needed. As for textbook requirements, the instructor will supply all reading course materials digitally to the course each week, which will be outlined in its respective module. Therefore, there are no textbooks required to be purchased. As for prerequisite knowledge, there is no prerequisite knowledge that is needed for this course as well. So let's talk a little bit more about the modules within this course. As you can see, here is the module list with each module outlined for each week. Module 1 we'll briefly touch on introductions. Module 2, we'll look at the history of virtual reality. Module 3, we'll look at the learning affordances of virtual reality. Module 4, we'll look at educational uses for virtual reality. Module 5, we'll look at virtual presence. Module 6, we'll look at virtual reality's impact on real-life behavior. Module 7, we'll look at the intro to augmented reality. Module 8, we'll look at augmented reality and gaming. Module 9 will be the presentations of the final projects. And Module 10 will look at new possibilities for virtual augmented reality, in which the evaluations will be due as well. So on our next slide, we have an example module outline. This would be Module 7, or Week 7, Augmented Reality Introduction. So in this example, students will be given different academic articles they are to read before completing the forum post for that week. Here you can see they have 2, which would be documented. 1 based on augmented reality simulations on handheld computers, and the second, affordances and limitations of immersive participatory augmented reality simulations for teaching and learning. Attached are 2 hyperlinks to each article. They will also be instructed to watch 2 videos. 1, a video of a TED Talk that showcases an example of AR, the Meta 2 platform, and 2, a demo of the augmented reality app which they will be working for this week, called Space 4D. Students would then be asked to demonstrate on their own. Students are instructed to download the Space 4D application, which is available for iOS and Android and can be installed on a smartphone or tablet computer. They would then be asked to print the single target for the solar system which they will be working with. Once they have this, they will be asked to launch the Space 4D app, then point their device at the printed target, which they will see a 4-dimensional version of the solar system, and then they would be asked to interact with the app's controls. After students have gained experience with this, they will then be asked to reflect on such experience. So since you had a chance to interact with the app, please reflect on your experience in this week's forum post. While reflecting, be sure to think about some benefits and disadvantages of using such a technology for learning purposes. And at the bottom, you can see a screenshot of a person using the app, and this would be a representation of the solar system that they would see on their phone when they point their phone at the target on the printed paper. So what are some of the challenges that may come along with using this class? Well, by the course being online, it can be tough to demo current virtual reality platforms and software. This may be a main problem for this type of course, essentially because students won't necessarily be able to see the physical hands-on work that goes into operating virtual reality. Sometimes you do need a headset or a computer to plug the headset into to run the software program, other hardware, etc. So the overall experience may lack if students aren't confident in their ability to work with the software they are given. Being that there is no instructor physically present, there will be little physical help that a student may be able to receive. Therefore, students must be somewhat independent and tech savvy to try out certain software on their own in order to answer certain forum posts. The group project may also be tougher because group members may not be able to meet in person to collaborate or discuss the project depending on where they are exactly in the world. Now, while this may present challenges, there are some benefits to this as well, such as this online class will allow more chances for meaningful interactions to occur. The students will essentially have to interact with one another through their posts, comments, or within groups for the final. These communication instances will help to foster meaningful dialogue between the students and their colleagues. The assignments and projects are to encourage students to be creative, to explore, and to work collaboratively. And though there are weekly deadlines, the students are able to work on assignments at their own pace. This course will enable students to make progress within the means that best suits them. This type of system does not require attending live sessions or anything synchronous. They'll be able to access the materials anytime, which may work for them. I also added these 2 bottom posts in. One, claiming that this will allow better retention of knowledge. And I added this because I feel as though the knowledge is easier to retain compared to retainment of knowledge from regular lectures. Personally, I feel that online classes call for you to essentially teach yourself the information that is given to you. And I feel that students will retain this knowledge better than if they were to listen to a professor lecture about the same material for 2 hours once a week. I think it'll stick better if they have to teach it to themselves. And this also fosters an example of peer learning. By students collaborating and sharing knowledge with one another within their posts and topics, they will essentially learn from one another, which will result in a form of peer learning as well. With that being said, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. And please feel free to post feedback within the comment sections as well. Thank you.